And now that we are done with Bellator Belfast, we'll hop back over to the States. We'll head to Las Vegas, Nevada, the apex for the UFC. Rose Namajunas gets her first victory in the women's flyweight division. The former two-time strawweight champion Rose Namajunas has ended her two-fight skid. She has gotten her first victory since November of 2021, and most importantly, she has gotten her first victory in the women's flyweight division, her new division, 125 pounds, a division that she has her eyes set on getting to the championship and becoming a two-weight world champion before her career is all said and done. The 31-year-old lost her debut in the weight class last September against Minan Firo, who we now know is fighting Aaron Blanchfield this coming weekend in what is an ultra high level battle between two 6-0 fighters. The winner surely will get the next title shot. Rose has beaten Amanda Ribas on Saturday night in what I thought was a relatively high level fight. Amanda Ribas, I just got to quickly give kudos to her. Not only is she just the most just happy fighter you'll ever see. She loves nothing more than to go out there and put on a show for the fans, and win or lose is always humble, and I appreciate that and respect that very much. She put up a good fight, and to be honest with you, she has gotten much better. Again, on Friday, I said that on paper, I just didn't see a world where she could beat Rose. I just felt like Rose was a little bit better in every single aspect of the game. But there was a world, and I'm not saying I scored it for Amanda. I think the right woman won in Rose Namajunas. But it wouldn't have been that crazy if Amanda Ribas got a 3-2, 48-47 scorecard. I'm just being honest. Round three, that's what was the most impressive, is that she flipped the switch and did her best work in rounds 3, 4, 5, where we had never seen her do that before in the UFC. We've seen Rose in those championship rounds time and time again, but never Amanda Ribas, and never at 125 pounds especially. She held her all and looked very good, competed on the feet very well, good in the grappling transitions and sequences. Wasn't able to quite hold Rose down like she's been able to do other fighters on her resume, but a very good performance from her. The night belonged to Rose Namajunas. It was a very big win for her in this division and for her career. I still don't think Rose is a perfectly sized flyweight. She was way outmatched physique-wise to Manon Fior. This one with Ribas, they were relatively even. Amanda still looked a little bit bigger, but you got to think Ribas is a 5-1 strawweight in the UFC. She should probably compete at 115 more than she does at 125, but she finds it easy to just go back and forth. So Rose here, you could tell, was more filled out than she was in September, put on some more muscle mass, just looked a bit thicker, looked a bit more like a natural 125er. So I think as her career continues to progress at this weight class, her physique will continue to fill out and look even better. Her skills are always there. Her movement, her fight IQ. She's one of the most intelligent fighters in the game. Now, sometimes the game plan and cornering can be brought into question. We've seen that in some fights prior, but this night was a good fight, a good performance, and now she will be a top 10 women's flyweight. She said she has her eyes on the matchup between Blanchfield and Firo next weekend in Atlantic City, and she also mentioned Macy Barber has been looking good as of late, and I'm just going to paint the picture of what I think needs to happen at women's flyweight. Does it make sense? Yes. Does that mean we will get it to happen? Probably not. So we know that Grasso and Shevchenko are going to have the trilogy. They are going to coach this season of The Ultimate Fighter. I believe it begins to air in June. I think they're going to then try and aim around September for the Spear UFC 306 for Grasso to showcase herself on Mexican Independence Day to fight in what is supposed to be a very monumental night for mixed martial arts, as Dana White has said. And so that's kind of a problem, is that they're not going to potentially fight for 6 more months. But that aside, this is the path that I want to see for the division. This weekend, Manon Fior, Aaron Blanchfield. Two amazing prospects, the best that we've seen at 125 pounds since the division came to fruition, to be quite honest with you. They are both 6-0 in the promotion. It is number 2 versus number 3. The winner of that fight absolutely 1,000,000% should not fight anyone else until it is for a championship, which is assumed to be the winner of Grasso versus Shevchenko 3. And that means that Rose Namajunas should fight the number 4 ranked Macy Barber. Macy has won 6 fights in a row. And honestly, like, there aren't many other people in this division to fight other than Blanchfield and Manon, but they are booked and busy against one another. Now, I know after UFC 299, I said I would like to see Macy maybe dabble to 135 while this division plays itself out, but that was before Rose got this victory. I think it is a chance for Macy to win her 7th straight fight, to get the biggest win of her career over a former 2-time champion in Rose Namajunas, and solidify herself as the next number 1 contender after Blanchfield and Manon. And for Rose, let's be honest, she's a former 2-time strawweight champion, as I've now said 3 times throughout this quick recap. She is one of the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. She only needs one more win to get herself into a title shot opportunity at 125, and there's no one better to do it against currently in the division than Macy Barber, someone who a lot of people are starting to get behind, who the UFC has always been behind, and who has won 6 straight fights. If Rose ends that win streak and gets a victory over one of the other biggest names in the division, boom, she's right in it for a chance to win a belt in a second weight class. And if Macy wins, boom, 7 straight victories, none bigger than Rose Namajunas. Book it. That's how we got it. Shevchenko Grasso fight. The winner of that, whoever the champion is, gets the winner of Manon and Aaron. Let them finish their business. Boom. How many times can I put boom into this sequence? And then Rose Macy fight. The winner of that get the next title shot for whoever the winner of those previously 2 bouts would be. But again, it seems too perfect, right? So the odds of getting that are slim, but that's what I want to see. And I just think Rose versus Macy is a very intriguing fight, one that deserves to be a 5-round main event as well. And much like I did Bellator Belfast, I'll quickly mention some other big performances from this card. It wasn't the greatest card of all time, but we knew that going in. But there are always going to be some diamond in the rough performances. So we start with Edmen Shahbazyan knocking out AJ Dobson with 17 seconds left in the first round in a fight where he was getting banged up. AJ Dobson looked the best that he has ever looked in the UFC thus far. He looked fast, he looked accurate, and he looked powerful. Edmen took the shots, bounced back, and got a brutal knockout late into the first round. He had lost 4 of his last 5 fights, but now he's won 2 of his last 3. That looks a little bit better. He's still only 26 years old. He seems to be in the right headspace and the right camp prior to that of which he was a few years ago as a very young man making a UFC main event against Derek Brunson. I still believe in the potential of Shahbazyan. Payton Talbott is that guy. He knocked out Cameron Saaiman 21 seconds into the second round. He is 25 years old. He is undefeated, and he is electric when he is in the cage. This was the MMA community main event of the week, the fight of the week, the people's main event. 23-year-old Cameron Saaiman, 25-year-old Payton Talbott were the talk of the town. What does that tell you about the future of the bantamweight division and the future of this sport? It tells me that it is in a very, very good place. But Payton Talbott proved to be better on the night. And this guy, I don't know how they're going to move him around or, match make him in the division. He is in the 135-pound bantamweight division, which is amongst the deepest, if not the deepest and best division in all of mixed martial arts. But this is only a second UFC fight. We are on to something special here with Payton Talbott. Let's just see how they move him up the ladder. Between February of 2020 and August of 2022, Youssef Zalal got a 3-win, 3-loss, and 1-draw record in the UFC. He was out of the promotion, and from November of 2022 to August of last year, he went 3-0 on the regional scene, 3 first-round finishes. He got the chance to re-debut in the UFC on Saturday against Billy Quarantillo on short notice, and what does he do? he puts on a masterful performance and submits Billy Q 1 minute and 50 seconds into the second round. The best performance of his career, and none bigger on this stage to come in on short notice to save this matchup and to re-debut against a guy as prominent as Billy Quarantillo. Youssef Zalal has put together all of the tools he needs to make a great second run in the UFC. Let us not forget that those 3 losses were to now champion Ilia Topuria in a fight that went all 3 rounds. He lost to Sungwoo Choi, who's been in some wars with so many different fighters in their division, and he lost a split decision to the sniper Sean Woodson. All 3 of those guys are very, very good fighters. Obviously, Ilia Topuria is the best featherweight in the world right now. Youssef Zalal is 27 years old, the perfect time to be back in the UFC. Fernando Padilla ended the unbeaten streak of Luis Pajuelo, ruined his UFC debut, and submitted him 2 minutes and 45 seconds into the first round. Fernando is now 2-1 in the organization. He had a close decision with Kyle Nelson last September. He was on the losing side of things. But his other win in the UFC was against Julian Erosa, who was on this very same card and got a huge comeback victory in the first round over Ricardo Ramos. So keep your eyes on Padilla and don't give up yet on Julian Erosa. Julian has 24 finishes in his career. He's kill or be killed. He's been knocked out 7 times. He was on a 2-fight losing streak, one of those to Padilla, and a knockout loss to Alex Caceres. But prior to that, he had won 3 in a row. Juicy J is one of the most fun fighters to watch in the 145-pound division, especially on the outside looking in of the top 15. Big win for him to get back on track, finishing Ramos. And my question for UFC Vegas 89, who is next for Rose Namajunas? Do you agree with me? Is that the route the UFC should take for the flyweight division? The winner of Grasso-Shevchenko fight the winner of Blanchfield-Foucault. Macy and Rose should fight each other. Winner of that will get the next title shot. Again, it's too easy, so that means it probably won't happen, but a guy can dream. If you enjoyed this recap of Bellator Belfast and UFC Vegas 89, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Every single week, you can count on me to bring you my recaps of the most meaningful results from every MMA card. I preview and break down fights going into every single weekend, the biggest storylines, and how did we get to these fights, and I give my thoughts and opinions on breaking MMA news and fight announcements. Be sure to join the community on social media at the BAJ MMA and follow on your favorite audio listening platform as well, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.